All right, we are live on Facebook Friday. I am super excited. You know, I was just telling Emily before we went live here, and I'm going to introduce Emily to you, but I was just telling her I go live every Friday on Facebook, and I get nervous every single time still. Every single time before I go live, I'm like all, oh my gosh, people are looking at me. So, Emily, thank you for joining me today. I'm really excited to introduce you to everyone, and it's been an absolute delight just as we were getting ready to go live to just get to know you a little bit. So, those of you who are watching, there is a personality in the window cleaning world and pressure washing world. I think you guys all know Sid Graff out of Billings, Montana. It's Billings, right? No,
Missoula.
Missoula, Montana. Yeah, I knew when I said Billings coming out of my mouth, I was guessing too much. Uh, so Sid, you may know him as the MC of the huge convention. You might know him as the 80/20 podcast guy. Or if you're a customer of his, you might know him as the guy who owns Spectrum Window Cleaning. But I am here today with the person who actually matters in Sid's life, because if it wasn't for Emily, the Sid you know would probably be in a gutter somewhere, homeless. He'd have a lot of energy, but he probably would not have his life together. It's people like Emily who keep them together. And she would your title be office manager? I didn't even ask you that earlier.
Yeah, I'm office manager at the CSRM, customer service.
CSRM. Yeah, I think you probably go a little beyond CSRM, but okay, sure. We can call you office manager slash CSRM. Um, Sid's grown quite a nice business. I remember back in the very early days, just a lot of spunkiness and personality in his business, but also, you know, if you're not from Montana, you just kind of assume that they're all small towns, mountain towns. But after talking to Sid, he has grown a good sized business with, you know, the town he's in is obviously not small. Like, I'm sure it's a mountain. Is it a mountain town? Would you consider it a mountain town?
Yeah, we're surrounded by mountains. It's like 100,000 people, which is
Okay.
huge for Montana. I know it's tiny for everywhere else.
Well, that's pretty big. I mean, I'm in the Phoenix metro area, and I know that's smaller than us, but I wouldn't consider that a small town by any means. Like that's a good sized town. So Sid's here growing this um, business, and he obviously knows that he needs more people than himself. And Emily, you came on board. Would you mind sharing us a little bit about how you came to work at Spectrum Window Cleaning? I'd love to hear the story if you don't mind.
Actually, I was just changing careers. I wanted something that was more stationary and had a good feel and everything. And Spectrum window cleaning came across, and it was also very close to my home, which is always a plus. And I had an online interview, which was really great. And actually, I was my friend just had a baby, and I was at their house, and I was telling them about this opportunity, and her husband goes, "Oh, that's my dad." And I was like, "What? I've never met your dad. What do you mean it's your dad?" And so came back from my second interview, and I was telling him this story, and he was like, "Oh, that's so excited." And he's like, "That's so fun that you actually know my kid." And he liked me, and I got the opportunity, and it's been wonderful since day one. The culture, the career, everything about it is just it's like a
That
family
is
away from family.
that does feel very small town, by the way, for something like that to happen. But that's so cool. So okay, so you get there, you get to this new job,
Mhm.
and I already know a little bit about what actually did happen. But I mean, when you met Sid the first time, this has nothing to do with quoting or ResponsiBid or admin, but like his personality is very endearing. But maybe like if I was going to work for him, maybe I'd be a little bit scared. Like, is this guy like stable? Like because he's so energetic.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just curious, what were your first thoughts when you started like working with Sid?
He's so fun, but he's got all these plans going every direction, and like my job's right here, and he's got like everything around it. And I started like organizing some stuff and getting everything like caught up from the winter because I came in early spring, which is right before the busy season. And I've adopted the nickname the Chaos Coordinator because Sid is chaos, and I coordinate all of it.
Okay, I got it. And I know a lot more about you now by you saying that. Like that makes so much sense. I love it.
It works really well because he just throws things at me and I put them in their spots. And then when he asks about them, I'm like, yes, it's right here. whether it's an
Yeah.
idea or something we're doing or a system. I'm like, yes, I know exactly where that is. And he's like, oh, perfect. Yeah, I don't.
We have an Emily in our business. Her name is Carissa, but some people call her mom. Other people I call her my iDaughter T crosser. Like she's just like very detail oriented. It's so wonderful. I'm so glad the world has people like you because I mean, maybe you do know, maybe you know because you watch from the outside, but like it's pretty crazy in our brains. And I'm not even at the level of Sid. Sid's so much higher above me in terms of like what he can manage. But
Yeah.
like we don't stand a chance without you. So grateful for you. Whatever your personality type is, that is amazing. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay. Sid is chaos. John just added into the comment section, Sid is chaos. Yeah,
True.
it's perfect. Okay, so I want to talk about sort of the important part of this discussion is how in the world are you getting 100 bids in one day? But I don't think we can go straight there. We need to start off with when you started working with the ResponsiBid software. Like you talked a little about getting thrown into the lion's den. Would you mind describing a little bit about your first interactions with ResponsiBid and how that all went?
Yeah, so I was told just to start using like these are our systems, start using them. Don't look at anything, just figure it out. And I was very confused because that's not what I do. I like to know what's happening. And I loved ResponsiBid, but I also hated it at first. I loved all the options and that it would give you a bid with just putting in the details. But I hated scheduling through it because I didn't know what the bar at the bottom for if the day's full, or the little colored circle if this was like a close location, because you still had to go in and look at it. And like 2 weeks in, Sid goes, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I wanted to test you and see how you're doing. And this is what these mean because I was complaining about them. He's like, oh yeah, so you haven't figured it out yet. This is what it means. And I think he just forgot to tell me. And it wasn't like a test. That's my theory, because once I
Yeah.
knew that, I loved it. I was like, oh, this makes it so fast and easy. This is amazing. And so now I love it.
Yeah, that is a Sid move. Sid, you know how Sid does the throwaway comments.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things where he's like, well, obviously I would have remembered to tell you it was a test. Okay, I gotta go. Bye. You know, like that I totally see that. Okay, so you were able to sort of start learning like, did you have any experience in like home services at all before you started working here?
Was a housekeeper and I was a in-home CNA. So like I've dealt with different people calling and scheduling things, but not specifically this, not like managing 5 teams, scheduling them all. I'm good with routing because I'm from here, so that was really helpful because they go to one section of the town and not all over. They don't like,
Yeah.
but not quite this, but I've had enough office and personal like personality, how they meet and clash and what people want to hear when they schedule something, that it wasn't too different. The scale
Okay.
was, yeah.
Yeah, but you had no business giving pricing for window cleaning from day
Oh yeah,
one. Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
a learning curve, which it didn't take that long. But I also said, let me go out on bids. I was like, can I go see things in person? Because I'm a visual learner. And like
Okay.
just throwing me picture like a picture of a side of a house, I have no idea. Now I do. But so that was
Yeah.
awesome. And like learning the processes. Our techs are wonderful. So I got to like once a week, I went out for a couple hours and just like they walked me through what we do, how we do it, why this price matters, what does MDR mean, and what does it entail. And I was like, oh, okay, like this makes it so much more visceral that I can do this now. This makes it
What is MBR? I don't know what it
mineral
means.
deposit removal, like taking out
Oh,
water stains, but it takes, 4 times as long as just cleaning
oh.
away. So it's why
So
it matters.
have you witnessed the cleaning of hard water off?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Super cool process.
So so that's so cool. I'm a visual learner as well. So I can totally feel that. And that's cool that you actually got a little of like boots on the ground experience.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's kind of move past like you got working in it, you learned to sort of use the process of giving quotes, and then you learned after the test, you learned how to schedule people. Which CRM are you guys connecting ResponsiBid to?
Use Jobber.
Okay, so you got Jobber. All your work orders are in Jobber. Your sales pipeline comes through ResponsiBid. How in the world are you getting 100 people a day? I'm not saying it happens every day,
No.
but like Sid hit me up. I think it was about a month ago. It was probably about a month ago or something. He sends me a Vox message and he's like, Curt, just want to let you know, we just gave 100 bids today, like just 100. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And, you know, ResponsiBid, I've been doing some math lately. ResponsiBid gives 2 bids per second.
Wow.
So if on a, and I know that we give more bids in the daytime than we do at night, but if you take all the seconds in the day, we give twice as many bids as that each day.
Yeah.
So on average. So if we look at the numbers, like ResponsiBid's giving a lot of bids, but you guys are taking a big old chunk of them. So how are you getting, like, how are you making the magnet? How are you getting everyone into your funnel?
We actually do a lot of paper, like paper advertising. I know like it's not common to talk about because digital age and all, but we do door hangers, what we call a street team. So we hand out door hangers on every, I don't know if you can see that. We also,
in fact, hang on, let me change the view real quick. There, I think this will make it so people can see a little bit better.
so
Okay.
just says who we are, how to schedule, front and back, and it gives them a discount for doing the work for me, basically. They get $25 off. And it goes right to ResponsiBid. We push, this is the only thing with the phone number that we have. Everything else goes directly to our ResponsiBid, get a free estimate through our website. But we push these on every house, the house we do around, we call it a 5 around. All their neighbors get it. We also just have street teams that go out in different neighborhoods and just put them like 500 out a day. And we rotate the streets every month. So no 2 people get the same one in a month, because that's kind of annoying. But we want to get it out there and make sure it stays in their mind. And then every customer we clean, we get another one. And it just is their set it and forget it, sign up, and the link on here goes directly again to ResponsiBid. And so we funnel everything in, just to take that away. And I like it personally. I'm young. I'm like 26, so like I'm on my phone all the time, and I hate online ads because even if I was interested in it, I didn't want it right then, and then I can never find it again. Like I love paper things because it's in the bottom of my purse, and I'm gonna find it in the bottom of my purse, and it's gonna take me 2 minutes versus trying to Google something about maybe window cleaning or something else. Like I'm never gonna find the same ad when you're on your phone. So I really like the paper mailers, and it's physical and we can customize them to the person. And everything that we do online marketing too, but everything there also pushes them right to its link, get a fast free bid. So we just funnel everything there. We still get calls, obviously, but a lot of people just go right there, and it takes out me as the middleman and doing the bid and answering their questions, because it has all the pictures. You know, they can go, I have this is my window, and I have this time, and I don't need to try and explain like what a window is over the phone. And it just makes it so streamlined.
Okay. Wow. Like you just dropped so many things. I have a bunch of rabbit trails I want to follow.
Sorry.
So let's just talk a little bit about your street team. I am so curious. Is the street team composed of people who do cleaning as well, or it's a totally different team?
Yes and no. They're all trained window cleaners. So they're kind of our backup, our floaters if someone calls in sick. But mainly, like right now we have just one guy who gets out 500 a day, which is amazing. We have little motorized scooters to make it more fun. And
No way.
Yeah.
So are we talking about one of these like stand-up scooters?
Yeah.
And they go all the way up to the door, and they do it, and they flip the scooter around and zip out.
Yeah. Yeah. And so they can get pulled into window cleaning, but that's their main job right now is just street clean or street team. And that they just push them out, and that really funnels them in.
Okay. So that's cool. That actually builds in another teammate to cover. That's smart. 500 a day. I think that's something that needs to be said right here, right now with everybody. If you are consistent and you are putting flyers or door hangers out like at the rate that they are, and you do it consistently, you can't fail. The reason is that you have so many lines constantly going into the water. For every person who's throwing them away, you're replacing these leads so fast. And by being organized in the neighborhoods that you're going into and only hitting them once a month, you're making sure that you're getting great coverage. It's such a cool plan. I love that. Street teams. Now, okay, I think I got the idea of street teams. You said 5 rounds. I know what a 5 round is. I'm thinking there might be people who are asking about that. Jason Hatch just says, I try to dance on the corner and they don't call, so I need to go paper. And then he says, it's a numbers game. You're killing it. I think this is awesome. So a 5 round, why don't you describe a little bit about what a 5 round is?
Yeah, so a 5 round is the house to the left and the right of the person we're cleaning, and then the three across the street, so directly across, and then one on each side. So they've seen our van sitting there, and we give them a piece of paper to remind them that they saw our van sitting there, basically. And that's just because they have the direct eyesight. Like when your neighbor gets something done, you're like, oh, what are they doing?
Okay, so
And so
we
they
got
see the van and see the flyer then on their door.
absolutely. So we've got 500 going out every day. Okay. I want you guys to think about this. This is actually very important. There's a lot happening here. 500 are going out in a day, which ensures that we've got lots of lines in the water happening all the time. Now, presumably, someone who got one of those gets a quote through ResponsiBid. They call in, they go through the sales funnel, they buy, they schedule a job. That same neighborhood is drawing you back to it. Someone asked you to come back to it to do the work. While you're working, we've got our wrapped vans, we've got our signage, everything's out. Now we're giving this same area that already is familiar with us because of our consistency. Now they see us working. We're not just a marketing company. We actually do work and people are really using us. You should too, right? It's actually social proof right here, right now. They can't ignore it. Now, obviously, I know people are at work, but there's people who are home and driving up and down the streets. They're seeing that. Now we get to the 5 rounds. The 5 round is, you saw me recently. You saw I was working there, or maybe you didn't even see it, but you're getting hit again. But I know I'm hitting a laser focused area of a target market who is interested in what we do.
Yeah.
So now we got the 5 rounds. So we got 500 plus, I don't know, how many jobs a day would you guys say you do?
25 to 30.
Okay, so we'll just use 25. So 500 plus another 125 at minimum, right? If you do 25 jobs, another 125 going out. So now we're at 625 of these things going out consistently. That's the word you just cannot forget. And 25 neighborhoods have had these vehicles in it. Now, I'm sorry, I'm trying to follow all the rabbit trails. I'm still following what you said. Then you said that at the end of the job, you're giving them this other piece of paper. And that piece of paper, it appears that you're trying to get them on like a monthly schedule, like a monthly payments schedule.
Yeah, so we call it Spectrum Select. So they're already a customer, and like for us, we're seasonal, so you have to like bring them back in at the beginning of the season. But this just gives them a spring, fall, summer. I'm sorry, spring, summer, fall, and then a winter dryer vent cleaning. So they're talking to us all year round, but they don't have to think about it. So they just schedule, like we have spring, summer, fall, or summer, spring, summer, fall, winter. And so either way, they get 3 cleanings a year. They don't have to think about it. We do monthly payments, so it's just a lower bite to eat. So if you're getting a $700 cleaning, you only want to do it once a year because you have to pay $700 in the month of May. And you're like, yeah, it's kind of a lot. But when you break it down over 12 months, you get more cleanings. Like, for example, like a standard house is $400 roughly. So you pay $115 a month and you get it done 3 times a year. So we just double or tripled our business, get a monthly payment, and they don't have to think about it. They're always happy. They never have dirty windows. So
I really hope people are taking notes right now, because what you've just shown us is how I can get 625 people to see who I am consistently. Then I take those people who make it through my funnel and I get them what they need, but probably would never pay for. And I am tripling what they're worth on the regular. Now, I'm not saying every single person signs up for Spectrum Select. Emily, do you even have any, like, could you even guess on maybe what number of people sign up for Spectrum
Well,
Select?
this is our new thing. We just started it this year. So we've done it for about 2 weeks, and I've had 4 people sign up.
Okay.
It's new, so give it a minute. But still, that's a pretty decent to throw a new thing out there. And they were pretty large jobs that signed up for it. So it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think that you're gonna see some success here. People are like more okay with subscriptions than ever before. So again, I just need to make the point here. In Missoula, it's going to be seasonal. I mean,
Yeah.
how many months a year is snow on the ground?
Uh, it depends. It's but about four-ish is probably
Okay.
accurate. 4 to 5, about mid. And it's not just snow; it's just the freezing temperatures.
Yeah.
Because it gets
Yeah.
real cold in November and it lasts till about March to be like just below freezing and you can't do anything because
So your season goes from March to when? You said
uh,
March?
about November depends on, but early November is usually the guarantee.
Okay. So you're working with about 7 months, maybe, like maybe give yourself 7 months. Okay. So you got all this issue.
Mm-hmm.
You got to overcome this dead time of year. Not only have you been consistent in marketing to people and getting all these leads and all these bids coming through,
Mm-hmm.
so everyone's excited. Oh, cool! I want to get 100 bids a day just like them. Okay, well, good. Go out and canvas and do the things that are consistent. You'll get it. We have proof right here, right now. But I feel like that's just this little part of the story. What you guys are doing with this initiative that you've just rolled out. Number one, you get paid ahead of time.
Yeah.
I mean, your accounts receivable, Jason just said, bomb drop. This is gold. To boot, their receivables will keep the coffers full.
Yeah.
The coolest part is I go out and do an $800 job, and then I got to wait a few weeks and like, do I have to keep like asking them to pay? And that's annoying. So
Yeah.
money comes in first. Their
Mm-hmm.
frequency doubles or triples, or even if it is just singular, it's easier for them, and you're getting your money up front.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about that winter. The winter when you guys aren't producing, how nice has it got to feel to have cash flow coming in over the
Yeah.
winter?
Yeah, that's the most stressful part, I think, for Sid. He really hates winter time. He's like, can we just think it's in a nice day? Can we throw a window cleaning on? And I'm like, it's 20 degrees outside. But yeah, so I'm excited for this year because even if only 300 people signed up for it, that's let's say it's $100, 3,000. Is that remember right?
No, that'd be
30,000?
30,000.
30,000 a month that's still coming in over
Yeah.
the weekends. And like I feel like that's gonna be really exciting for
Yeah. And
stress.
don't forget that 30,000, when you show up, you already know you're paid. There's not
Yeah.
even a need to do invoice. They don't have to be home. I can't even tell you. I mean, well, I could tell you, you already know. People being home when you have to work there, I love the interaction. It's cool, but it slows things down. And then you got to like wait and get paid. If you're going to get paid, you got to stand there while they do the thing, and you call the
Uh-huh.
president, get clearance from the control tower. Okay, we'll write you a check. It's a whole thing. This is
Yeah.
just so smooth and streamlined. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. I we're coming close to a half hour, Emily, and I'm like only like
No,
a tenth of the way through my
I
questions.
know.
I'm gonna be I will try to not
You're
rabbit
good.
trail too much.
You're good.
Okay. Okay. People think they want 100 bids a day, but I think a lot of people would hate it. And the reason I say it is because your company needs to grow to handle that kind of thing. Now, you've already talked about doing 25 jobs a day. If you've got 5 crews out and they're doing 5 jobs each,
Mm-hmm.
those are some really effective crews and they're kicking butt, taking names. That's great. But it's not even just that. How are you following up? I know that ResponsiBid is the automation of the quote, but I mean, I've got lots of questions for you. What's the safety net? What does your automation look like to make sure that if you can't get to everyone, what is your principle on actually talking to each person or not? What are you doing if they get a bid and they need a schedule? How's that going to look? And then I think maybe the most important part is once you've given the quote to them and you maybe do decide that you're going to start calling them, how are you actually making sure that you can deliver on all of this stuff that's coming in? So let's go back to the beginning and just ask, how are you maintaining your stress levels?
That's a good question.
Uh-oh.
My stress levels end at 5, and Sid's big on that, which is wonderful. I could be stressed throughout the day. But we have, if I just need to handle my responsive bids, we have a secondary call service who just answers. It's basically a voicemail, but it's a live voicemail. So I don't have to feel bad for ignoring all my phone calls. Someone else is taking care of it. It's another thing I have to catch up on, but it's
And that's
easier.
Jill's office.
Yeah.
Let's just take a quick stop real quick at Jill's office. a lot of people use Jill's office because they can use ResponsiBid and give quotes over the phone and use CrewCal to schedule. You've made the choice to just have them live answer the phone because you'll get on the phone with someone and all I need to know is these two things, but you want to talk for 15 minutes. You see all these calls that you're missing and they're going to a live person. Can you talk a little bit about your decision to not let Jill's actually do the scheduling and quoting?
It's mostly just the double checking to make sure that everything looks good because it is such a it's a great process, but there's sometimes a couple of times that they tell me it's not a like for example a new construction clean. Like that just has to be bid in person and not they don't necessarily know to go to Google and they're gonna look at it or like know that oh this $400 job is accurate. Like they gave me all the right answers versus oh it's not, it's a $700 job and our guarantee is that like the price you're told is the price you're gonna pay. And so there's all these little things that I do to guarantee that. So I like them just to give me the information so I can go through that process and I don't have to like call them back 3 days later after they've been told a price and go, yeah, this was wrong. So it just takes rid of that little nuance of like, oh, they probably like I'd be pissed if you told me it was $400 and you call me back a week later and you're like, yeah, it's 700. Or if I don't catch it and they show up to the job and you're ready to have your windows cleaned and they're like, yeah, this is wrong. We can't do it for 400. It's double that. Or example, like I would be mad as a person getting a service done. I'd be upset about that. So that's my biggest concern. And
Okay.
I just don't, it's easier for me to just to do it, which is maybe just a control thing. I have
Well, people who are I dotters and T crossers are control freaks. And
yeah.
I don't know that like we got to talk about that like it's a bad thing. I mean, I get it, especially if your stress levels end at 5, but in the meantime, you have to handle the stress. So I think that's reasonable. So let me ask you this then, because that's super interesting. How are you making sure, like, what are you doing to make sure that the price I quote is the price you're going to pay? What are you doing to like that 30-second moment in between where you're like, okay, I'm good with all that?
Well, it goes back to when I first started and getting like trained on how we do everything is I understand it really well now. And I can look at your house. I can pull it up, open the maps, look at the house real quick, look at the square footage, look at the type of windows really quickly, and be like, yes, this is all accurate. This is all looking correct. And I usually do that. We have 3 questions. Do you have storm windows? Do you have French panes? Do you have hard water? I'm already looking at 2 of those, so it's kind of a filler question. Like I don't like care what your answer is, I can see it. So I have that time and there's no awkward pause on the phone while I'm doing that.
Uh-huh.
And I can do it very quickly at this point. It was a little slower when I started, but now, and I can go, okay, make sure this is all correct. This is a $500 deluxe cleaning. And that quoted price is correct. For sometimes, every now and then, they'll tell me, oh, it's a single story, but oh, we have a few in the basement, but it's on a hill and it's a walkout basement and has a second story and we're going to do ladder sets. And that's just something instead of like trying to pull that information out of them, I can just look at it real quick and get the answer I need. And it makes
Yeah.
the conversation shorter. It makes them not question why I need to ask these questions. And they're like, I don't know what you mean. So it just cuts that out, which is really
I
helpful.
just, I'm listening to you, Emily, and I can tell that you take your job seriously. I know that. And I know you've said you like Sid, but I'm afraid of something that's about to happen.
Oh, no.
I'm looking at the comments section. I see Teresa Jagman. I feel the exact same way. I love Teresa. She's fantastic. Jason's like, oh my gosh, she's so on it. Nuggets, nuggets, nuggets. You're so great. Emily, Sid's going to regret the day that he put you up here to figure out who is going to pay you the most money to come work for their company. So maybe we won't tell Sid about this part, but I do feel that there are going to be some job offers coming your way. And I will tell everyone right now, don't do that to Sid. But if I was you, I'd do the same thing.
I
So
love. He told me worked here for about a month when he had maybe it was longer. I think maybe it was actually the huge convention or it was his amp something. He had some meeting a month or 2 after I started, and he was telling me this story afterwards, and he was saying that they were in a meeting and they were all complaining about their CSRs or their office, and he's like, I don't need to complain. I have an Emily, and I was like, oh, thank you.
I was there for that. That wasn't an amp. He said that
Emily.
from the stage. I actually remember him saying that. That's so funny. You did just get a job offer to come to come train someone's office. So he's not trying to steal you. He just wants you to come train.
Oh, that's nice.
Anyway, okay. you can reach out to Jason Hatch after. Jason is a fantastic human being and a very good friend. But I don't want to ruin my friendship with Sid. Okay. So let's get to the part where you're managing your stress levels by checking things, making sure it happens. You've got phone overage going to Jill's office. They're handling that. That's cool. But you got 100 bids come in one day. I don't know how many outbound calls you're going to make in a day. What percentage of those people are you calling? And like how big of a priority is it? Like, tell me a little bit about that.
So the day we got 100, I turned off my phone. I sent it just to Jill's. And because we call every person, even if it's just, sometimes it's a 20-second phone call. They're like, yeah, it's just something I want to look at. I don't want to do it right now. I just wanted to know the price. I'm like, great. And I just decline it. Like they're not, I don't need to call them again. Like they're not going to do it right now, but if they still have the schedule, but it'll keep sending them reminder emails for that period. And so I turn that off basically by saying decline, and it will give them 1 in 3 months to bring them back to it. But everyone gets a phone call, even if it's just for them to tell me no, or they have questions, they need to schedule. Unless they schedule themselves online through CrewCal, then they get a text message from Jobber that I set up that says, your appointment's confirmed, here's your details, everything they already know, but I don't call them just because I have enough
But
calls.
you do still go through and click the see on map thing and look
Yeah,
at the Google image. Like, so you're still doing your quality control behind the scene.
yeah, I do it quick. It's like about 30 seconds. Doesn't take me long, and it's, yeah, just a quality control. If it was really off, I would call them and say, hey, I just noticed I have a couple of questions about your house. Clear that up and be like, yeah, you have a couple of these French windows. I'm gonna have to change a bit a little bit. But because they hear it the same day or maybe the next day, depending on when they get it, they're not mad about it. That's their guarantee. I've checked it over. I've confirmed with them that the price, the service that they want, and that's the price that they get. Unless they have like a request, can you measure this when we're there? Then that would be a floating price, but they've already asked for that. So there's no issue. So that's our guarantee is you'll show up with the price that's quoted to you. Maybe you'll get a decrease if you change a level of service, but you're not going to get a massive increase beforehand, which is really,
Jason just asked the question that I think, first of all, you're getting a bunch of high fives. I'm a vet ResponsiBidder. You're nailing it. So that's cool. But Jason just asked, how many follow-up statuses do you have? Do you guys have lots and lots of follow-up statuses for specifics, or do you keep it super simple?
we have follow-up ones for every status that you're in response, like the open, I guess has none technically, or not open, scheduled has none, because then it goes to Jobber.
Okay.
But every other one, so declined has, I think, a 3-month follow-up. It says like, hey, it's been 3 months. Did you want to take a look at this? I think our highest one is closed jobs, like they've been completed and done. They go out at the moment, I think every 3 months in the summer and twice in the winter. So they get like a preemptive one, which I think we're gonna move to the Spectrum cleaning or Spectrum Select. So that starts pushing them to get
Oh,
on.
yes. Very good. I
Yeah.
love that.
But so those are things that I don't look at, and they come from me, and a couple of them come from Sid. So it's not me just bugging them; it's Sid
Yeah.
bugging
That's a
them. And
huge hack. Huge
yeah,
hack. You want to make sure you got circular follow-up so that they're part of a conversation and not just being yelled at or like,
yeah,
have it now,
yeah.
have it now, have it now. So, so you don't have like a bunch of custom statuses built out for like very specific situations then, is that right?
Well, we have like the options for declined, open. Like we have different follow-ups for those, but it's probably like 3 or 4 per one. It's an email from me, an email from Sid, and then like a text or something. I don't know.
You can make statuses like rude customer or
Oh,
commercial storefront or something like that. Do you guys use anything like that?
we blacklist rude customers. We call them PETAs. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Yep, yep, yep. Everyone knows who the PETA customers are. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And that's just a trickle down from Sid. He doesn't accept rude cut. He's like, no, you're not going to treat anyone like that.
Life's too short.
Which
Yeah,
is wonderful. A lot of bosses out there would be like, you deal with the customer. It's a customer. And Sid's like, no, you deserve respect. And so that's really nice. That's the only type of rude, like tag that we have. And we have commercial, and residential is the only other two.
Okay. So let's man, look at the time. My question list is getting longer and longer. All right. Well, That's okay. What we'll do is we'll say, okay, you're handling him through automations. You're very physically calling. This is so cool. Now we've talked about you not calling the people who schedule themselves if you check and everything looks good.
Yeah.
You've also talked about once the job is done, 100 jobs in a day is great, but if 100 jobs or 100 bids, sorry, but if 100 jobs results in, let's say 10% of people sign up for Spectrum Select, which is your recurring billing service where you can set up a custom, cleaning schedule.
Mhm.
I would say at this point, we've learned a lot of different things that I just want to spend some time just like summarizing.
Mhm.
First, we were consistent and we got the door hangers out. Door hanger, door hanger, door hanger. We had a call to action on it. Fast and free quote. Get your fast and free quote. Then when we do get called into a neighborhood to work, we've got our vehicles doing the work. You had mentioned to me earlier about lawn signs. Are you guys using lawn signs regularly, or is it just like an every once in a while thing?
Yeah, we've kind of forgot about them with everything else. But yeah, every house we clean, we ask if we can leave a lawn sign. We'll pick it up in a week is our what we do. Um, and people can say yes or no. There's no penalty. And part of the street team also puts out lawn signs in like public property, like a roundabout is public
Uh-huh.
property. I think my favorite spot to see them is at our busy traffic jam spots because people are
Uh-huh.
sitting there and they can actually put it in their phone and not just driving by quickly. So we have a couple of those in town and we pick them up within a week. So we're never like loitering or littering. We make sure that all our signs are picked up. And if anyone, um, like if a customer is like, oh, it was here for 2 days and you were gonna pick it up on Monday, can you come get it? We still will come get it because we don't want to bother our customers. Like they're
Yeah.
doing us a favor by having them, but they're just it's big. It says window cleaning and it has our phone number, and that's all it has. And it's
So this effort that you're putting in, it it's so critical. It's so important to point out that this effort is consistent and a volume. And this volume will support it. So now we've sort of taken a lot of the guesswork out of, is it going to be a good year or a bad year? Well, it's going to be a good year because you're doing the things that you do to make it a good year.
yeah.
So, so you're hitting you're outbound, right? And then a certain percentage of those will get it. You play the numbers game, you win. Now you're doing the work and you're representing again the neighborhood and you're doing your 5 rounds. Again, consistent, adding just more to the funnel. Okay, so the job gets completed. You have the opportunity to turn this into a recurring customer who would do a lot more with you than normal and at a much more, price that's more budget friendly. So we've got that going out. And then you talked about when the leads come in and they flood in because, when you live in an area that's very seasonal, there's this predictability that comes with, oh, pollen's fallen, time to go, right? And I know it's a love-hate relationship. It's like, oh, the pollen's falling, nothing's happening right now. And I know a lot of people feel that way on the East Coast. So you embrace the suck of what it is, the seasonality, and you maximize the amount coming in. And then you talked about your process of maximizing those leads, whether it be through automations, quick processes in place for you. And then I just think that it can't be overstated that you add the human touch. Even the fact that you don't let people go to your voicemail when you're on the other line, I think that's important for people to understand that if you're going to maximize your funnel, they have to feel super warm and cozy as they're coming through the funnel, even if you can't handle it right this second. And you've talked a lot about that too. So yeah, do you want to talk about that for a second? It looked like you were going to say something.
I was just saying, yeah, I don't like window voicemail personally because I feel like they're being missed. And I know when I call somewhere, I want to talk to someone, even if it's a hey, they'll call you back.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get your information. And I feel more like I'm not gonna go call someone else. Like I talk to someone, I'm in,
Yeah.
they know I'm here. I'm not gonna go find something else for the service I want. Um, so I just like that we have that ability. And I try and answer all the phone calls I possibly can. Like I like being their person. I like talking to them and getting
Mm-hmm.
everything done and right and answering their questions. Cause I don't get many where they call and they're like, oh no, never mind. I get those like once a quarter. They're like, no, that's like it's a little little tiny house and they have to meet our minimum. Like that's the only time I ever get like a no. Every other person's like, no, this is wonderful. You answered everything. And I love hearing it. I don't get to hear it all the time. Like our texts get our reviews, and I love that. I'm so proud of our reviews that come in. But I like to hear sometimes I get an email that says, you were so helpful. And I'm like, oh, perfect. I did my job today. And it just makes me happy.
You know, Emily, we had my wife and my mother, and then we had other people who would answer our phone too. My experience is you put this I daughter T crosser, you know, chaos manager, you put someone in place like yourself, you become the rock star of the company. And I don't know if the guys say it to you, but I have to believe this is true because it's my experience when I own my own cleaning company. When you're out in the field, you're charming and you're doing your thing. But the whole time, the customers are just telling you how amazing that lady in the office is. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. And it's like, well, can you shut up about her for a second and just talk about me? And no, we're just going to keep talking about Emily. So
Oh,
I'm assuming that happens to you.
I don't actually get that. I don't, well, they don't pass it along to me. But if they does, that makes me feel happy. I'm glad because our texts are wonderful. They're great customer service representatives, and I hear tons about them. So if they do hear that, that just the thought of it is wonderful. As long as they're happy and they're excited for their cleaning, I'm happy.
I feel confident. I feel confident you match up a lot of this. I just see so much similarity. And I don't think Phoenix, Arizona is all that different in terms of the way that people are. Now, I can tell you this, you said something that I don't think will cross borders. I'm thinking about the people in Philadelphia. I'm thinking about the people in New York City. I'm thinking about the people in the mean streets, right? Towns. Just because they've talked to another human being, probably they don't care. And a lot of those places, they're not gonna be like, oh, I've already talked to someone, I'm committed. That loyalty. I think that you're enjoying a special part. And I think that a lot of places in the country will enjoy what you've described. But
Mhm.
I think that there will be people who will know, like, just, I just want the automation. Just make this go through fast. Whatever the lowest price is, I'm going to go with that. You know, like there will be pockets of the country that'll be that way. But even in those pockets, there are people who will just breathe that sigh of fresh air in when you reach out. And I think that's the biggest problem I see with the ResponsiBidders is they go, I set up my automation and now I'm just sitting here waiting for things to happen.
Mhm.
And I think that that's cool if you're so busy as, you know, as a one-arm paper hanger and you can't do it. I think that's okay. That safety net's fine. But it's the same as the consistent effort that's bringing those leads to you that we've talked so much about. I
Mhm.
think it's time to sort of really recall that Emily's talked about all the effort she puts out. We nurture those leads and we do it in a way that reflects our company values, and we do it in a way that helps the customer see why we're different and special. And Jason Hatch says it's mostly a Midwestern thing. He's in Des Moines, Iowa. So, you know, he gets that too. But I think humans do enjoy that interaction. Even if you've served them really quick in the automation level, there's
Mhm.
a, you know, no doubt we're in the digital age. You said it earlier, and I think there's a benefit to it. But I just don't want to like gloss right over the fact that you're doing hard work and it's not for nothing. I think it is important.
Thanks. I
Yeah.
think it is too. Sid always said, well, Sid's from the South, so he's got that uh like Southern welcoming, whatever that's called. He doesn't sound Southern, but he is from the South. And feel like Montana's a Southern, got that same warm welcoming feeling to it. And so I appreciate that we serve it. And as a customer, like I appreciate that as a customer from anywhere else, that you get that, no, I care about you. Like I'm gonna get you your help, I'm gonna answer your questions. And it's
Mhm.
not just talking to a robot. Like when you call somewhere and you have a robot, you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna go there. Just based off alone, just how that person answered the phone. I'm judged, like you just judge. People judge for everything. So if I can be warm and welcoming on the phone, then that just, I don't know, gives them a level of security.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I guess I have a few other questions. I'm just going to ask, I think the most important encapsulating question that I have left is, you know, a lot of people who are listening, they may be ResponsiBid users or ResponsiBidders as we call you. There's others who may not. And that's, you know, we love everybody who's here and we're glad you joined us. But I have a question about like any advice. I think that when you listen to someone who's so on their game like you are, and it seems there's something that probably just seems totally natural and normal to you, but you couldn't live without it. Whether it's a process that you do, or maybe I take a full lunch every day. Like, what advice might you give that doesn't seem like advice at all? Um, I feel like that would be something people would really benefit from in your position. Does anything come to mind when I ask you about that?
Um, so Sid gives me lots of tasks. Like I'm a chaos coordinator. There's lots of little things. And when we're in season, he always asks me, can I give you things? And I'm afraid to go, no, don't talk to me for the next week. Just leave me alone. Just don't pretend I don't exist. I'm doing my job because I don't want any other distractions. And that being able to focus on the amount of calls coming in and response that's coming in is really nice because I like to be helpful. I'm a very helpful person. Like I like to do everything, and being able to say no without any guilt associated with it is very helpful for me because I'll say yes all the time, but because
Yeah.
we've had that, you don't have to say yes to this. As my boss is like doing things for him, it's very freeing because I've had those weeks where I'm like, if one of these technicians calls me one more time today, I'm
Yeah.
gonna lose it. Now,
And you
it's
just
something
told us
that
that, and you just told us they're wonderful technicians.
oh, they
Uh,
are, but if they have a question, I
yeah.
have to go, all the texts ask our production manager, don't call me unless you get in a car accident. So don't call me. Just
Yeah.
I don't have the brain capacity to, it's just like little things. Nothing's wrong. They're not complaining. They just have
Yeah.
a normal question. And so I can just direct them to our production manager, and Sid leaves me alone because I can't handle any more chaos and I just can focus. And then like the next week, he's like, how's this week? I'm like, give me your thing. So I got time this week. And the freedom to say yes and no helps me not be
I'm
crazy.
I'm gonna turn to the comments section for a second.
Okay.
Guys, this is your last chance. I'm gonna be hanging out with Emily soon. If you have a question for Emily, throw it in the comments section. Happy to answer it here live. I have a comment I want to make about what she just said, and I think this is important for all of you listening. But this is your chance to talk to someone super solid who you all wish worked in your business. Ask the question. Have her coach you on something. I'm sure she could. So, Emily,
Yes.
you said of all the things that you could give advice, the first thing that jumped to your mind was the ability to tell your boss no and knowing that he's okay with it in order to like yes or no, and that you're free, you're mentally healthy and free to say, as a people pleaser, I reject your request.
Yeah.
Like, um, I'm thinking right now about all the people who are watching this, who own businesses. And by the way, I'm watching you as well as a business owner. So, um, how good of a job are we doing at letting our employees tell us no? Like, I know that right now you're working as hard as you possibly can. And one arm paper hanger, one-legged man in a butt kicking contest. Like, I know all the sayings. Do we factor that in? Or if they are super busy and they're working their system, are we being cognizant of watching and saying, hey, I'm going to not continue to ask more of this person who is overwhelmed. And I think that's an important, it's just a really important point to bring out. So, I needed to hear that, and I appreciate you saying so.
It's not a normal answer, and I know it's
Yeah.
not, but I've been given the ability, which is wonderful because I don't use it often, but I use it enough, and it gives me from like I don't have bad days at work. I'm not just saying that either. Like I've had jobs where you're like, I don't want to go to work because I don't want to be around those people or I don't want to do like whatever. I've had those jobs before and I really don't have that. And if
Oh,
I
that's
did
good.
it like I've taken one day off like last minute, been like it's been a heck of a week. I think everything's set for the rest of the week and the beginning of next week. Can I have a half day? I did that once and it was just like it was real busy. I had everything situated. It was good for the next week. Like nothing was needed for like me that Monday or whatever. And I asked Sid, I was like, I think I could use a half day. He was like, go for it. You've done everything possible. Like, go for it. You've never taken one. Please do. And having a good boss is really phenomenal to your workers. Your workers want to stay. Because I've had bad bosses. I've never had a boss as good as Sid. Like, it's been so refreshing. I feel like I do a better job. If it's not even I know I do a better job when I love my job and I love the people I work with and what I represent, because it reflects like the company itself reflects my values, which is why I'm a good fit. But it just makes it flow. Like, it's all a circle. It's not like a bumpy road. It's not, stagnant. It's just really happy, healthy, and it gives me the opportunity to be a better employee and reflect more on myself. Like, my personality is who you hear on the phone. It's not a customer service voice, a fake person who just is doing what they're told. Like, I care. And so being able to say no makes that even better for some things.
I don't know why you're getting me so emotional.
I just was
Wow.
an honest answer.
I love that. I think I speak for Sid. That's exactly what every boss that the people I run in circles with, that's what we want to hear. And that's what makes our business an extension of who we are, and not just some stupid money machine that has no real true intrinsic value to humans, except for putting money in a bank account. Man, you really hit me in the feels there, and I'm like trying my best to like maintain composure. I love that. I love that for you, and I love that. My buddy Sid.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, I'm sorry to make you emotional.
I can't talk when I'm crying.
No, it's
But
okay.
no, so happy for you and for Sid, and that's so cool.
Thank you. I love
Okay.
so.
Um, did not expect you to get me like that. So we were talking about 100 bids in a day. Thank you for sharing your strategies and for sharing your heart with us and for sharing so many cool, just little insights. I think you brought so much value to everybody. Gosh, I'd have you on every week, to be honest.
I'd be happy to be back, which I don't say often. I'm not a live Facebook person, but I would do this again.
Cool. Well, I'm guessing we'll probably be sticking our team on you to get you back on here at some point. But
Yeah.
so fun. For all of you guys who've been watching today, thank you for joining us. I am super excited for what is happening at Spectrum Window Cleaning. I'm watching the ResponsiBid activity right now. You guys are so busy right now. I know that you are. And I thank you for taking time out. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. And we will see you next week on Facebook Friday. Bye.